The very first Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, smashing success. We just finished our third one in May, and it looks like it's going to catch on and stick. But had you not taken that jump, we probably wouldn't have it today, so thank you. It was Jan low. On the 21st of June, almost a year ago, Brother Jaimie was presented the the Harry Denman Evangelism Award, a great honor. And as was mentioned, I was asked to say a few words. So rather than roast you, which is tempting, I'm going to, if you'll let me, read to you some of the words because it sums up how I feel about this man. From the outside of our first meeting, I instantly liked Pastor Jaimie with his wide smile and very warm greeting. And I think everybody in the room certainly would agree with that. He can pull that off with or without a lei and a skirt. I have known many clergy in my day. I'm a PK. And have always measured each against my dad, who provided so much light and wisdom in my life. Pastor Jaimie is one of the very few who has met and in many ways exceeded my expectations. I am always amazed how he moves a secular conversation into a discussion about the teaching of Jesus Christ with such ease and in a non-confrontational manner, and then, with equal ease, moves the conversation back to the original topic. His outreach to those in need is inspiring, sincere, and is never offered with delusions of grandeur and reward. Instinctively, he finds that special nugget within each of us that needs nurturing and offers the path and the light through the teachings of Christ. And that pretty much sums up how I feel about Brother Jaimie. You will be missed, sir. I wish you every success in your new parish. Judy, the same with you in your new parish. It's very, very unusual, I believe anyway, in the Episcopalian world to ever see two leave at the same time. So my blessings on this parish and my blessings on your new parish. Thank you.
Are Elaine Detlefson and Janita Mickelson here? Could you come forward, please? Oh, you couldn't hear me? Ooh, sorry. Janita and Elaine have a presentation that is from our prayer shawl ministry, and that if you're not familiar with it, a number of folks in the church knit prayer shawls, and as they knit them, they knit in prayers, and those prayers go to those who are in need of prayers. In this case tonight, it will be Brother Jaimie and Pastor Judy. And those prayers, the prayer shawls are blessed, and they're sent on their way, and they just bring blessings through whatever the person is going through, whether it be the joy of a new baby, or whether it be an illness, or whether it be a death, or whether it be a loss in the sense that friends are going elsewhere. And so it's a very powerful ministry. Folks who have received these will tell you how much this means. And so we know that as Janita and Elaine make this presentation, that you will be being sent in prayer. And so I'm going to let Janita take it from here.
Thank you. And I'm going to read this because my memory doesn't work. This shawl was created with lots of prayer and love, and we are giving it to you along with prayers from above. As we sat and knitted this little shawl for you, we said a prayer when we first started, and some more while working through. We prayed that you'd be happy, finding joy and peace and love. And as we finished making it, we offered one more prayer above. That was to say, we hope that you enjoy this shawl you see, for it was made with love and prayer from someone nice, from me and she, and from the FUMC Prayer Shawl Ministry.
Oh, this is the one I started. I started this a long time ago and they finished it. Thank you.
Yours is in the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of people knitted on this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much.
And for Pastor Judy, I have one also. Okay. I have to tell you, the other day I was in the office knitting, and I do that often Tuesday afternoons to pass the time while I'm being an office angel. Miss Judy comes along. She says, "Am I going to get to have one of those like Pastor?" And I said, "I don't know." And then I said, "Well, if I did know, I wouldn't tell you."
She's always trying to beat my time.
That's hard to do, too. This is another similar little poem that you're going to get to have to keep. This shawl was created with lots of prayer and love, and we are giving it to you along with prayers from above. As we sat and knitted this little shawl for you, we said a prayer when we first started and some more while working through. We prayed that you'd be happy, finding joy and peace and love. And as we finished making it, we offered one more prayer above. That was to say, we hope that you enjoy this shawl you see, for it was made with love and prayer for someone nice from me.
This is also the one that Elaine was working on when I asked her to come and be a part of the children's sermon. Isn't it?
It is.
Yes. Oh, blessing. Thank you. Thank you.
And now I understand the UMW has a presentation for the pastors, so if you would like to come forward. They're running the other way.
I'm afraid that they might have to rent another truck. However, they're going to have to accept something from the UMW for all that you've done for us and for the church. We want to send you off with something that would have been for the bazaar, but we'd rather have it hang in your office or somewhere. Dick Bacon made them and Austin signed them. So we send them along with our love and our wishes for much joy in your new churches, just like you have brought us so many blessings.
And now I had to look high and low and around corners to find people that would speak kindly about the pastors. So please remember that. The first person that I would like to introduce is Candy Mount. So Candy, if you'd like to come up, please.
Thank you, Amy. I'm going to read this because if I don't, I'll lose my train of thought and I'll start crying, and I'm not going to do that. So, our dear Judy, a new journey is beginning for you. You must be excited and maybe a little overwhelmed, anticipating what God is calling you to do. Because whatever it is, you are the child He chose to do it. And we trust that you will. You know, folks, a pastor's life is not easy. But if you're really, really good at it, you can make most people think it is. And so when I was asked to speak about Pastor Judy, the first thing that came to mind is how effortless she makes it feel when she's taking care of us. Whether it's in classroom, in the pulpit, on missions, she's effortless, and it brings a sense of joy to all of us. She gives encouragement, always listening with her heart and working with compassion and courage and dedication. Judy calls us to be more than we are, to think outside the box, to dream big, to venture without fear of failure. That's something we never felt with Judy, is that we would fail because she supported us so totally. So without fear of failure, into avenues of ministry and missions that we may have never even considered before. And because of her gracious acceptance of the outcome that we brought about, we became stronger Christian believers because we believed in ourselves. Judy has faith in us, her congregation, and abiding faith in God. Pastor Judy has worn lots of hats as she's served our church family. She's brought into being our amazing Wednesday Manna. If you have participated at any time in Wednesday Manna, would you stand? If you've been to any of them, would you stand? That is a witness. And as she's worn these many hats and attended celebrations, led classes with diverse topics, in Wednesday Manna we had great meals and heartwarming fellowship. We grew closer as a church. She has taught many small group classes, shared her journey of her trip to the Holy Land, and raised up small group leaders. And this includes going out into the community, away from this campus, and letting our presence be known, because we love people, and what better way to find them? Today she preached a breathtaking and thought-provoking sermon. Wow, how many of y'all heard that sermon today? Oh. She reaches out and she grabs us and she challenges us in the kindest way possible to wake up, look at our own spirits. She teaches us that we can increase our understanding of the Lord by looking inside. Judy certainly knows how to challenge us, and that's a blessing, Judy. Thank you. The time I believe Pastor Judy shines the brightest is in the pulpit. And not specifically the sermons, although they're brilliant and beautiful and have meaning to all of us. But when she sings those hymns and she raises her hands and you see the glory on her face, you can't help but realize God is involved. She is just aglow with total immersion in the love and joy of Jesus Christ. I don't know if you ever knew that, Judy, but we can't miss it when you're singing. Pastor Judy is a seeker. However, she doesn't continue to seek or follow Jesus strictly for her own soul, or even to grow ours. She lives her life out of her love for God. And through her love and faith-filled trust in our Lord, we all benefit. It is the love that she carries that grows us all. I'd like to share a quote from Corrie ten Boom, author of the famous book, The Hiding Place. Hold everything in your hands lightly. Otherwise, it hurts when God pries your fingers open. Our dear Pastor Judy, that is what is happening right now. We are all having our fingers pried open. We send you forth with love and sadness, with excitement for your new journey and regret, that we didn't have more time together. Most of all, we send you off with the knowledge for you to carry with you that you have forever changed and shaped our personal walk with Christ. And for that, we praise you and we praise God. And as I end this and give Judy a big hug, because I'm a hugger, a song comes to mind, and I think we would all agree that this is very appropriate for Judy. I won't sing it, I promise. It is Wouldn't Have Missed This Girl. Wouldn't have missed this for the world. And I think that's how we feel about you. So thank you.
Thank you, Candy. All right, we don't want Judy to get all the glory. So, Miss Janet, if you would come up and say a few kind words about Brother Jaimie. Janet Walton.
Do they have to be kind? One of the things when Jaimie and I are in the same place in a group, he mentions quite often that he and I grew up in this church together because we came about the same time. I think the church has grown in the 6 years that we've been here. I'm not sure he and I have. I don't think either one of us have grown up at all.
Which is a good thing.
It is a good thing. You will be missed. I'm not going to give a long speech because there's more coming, and you know how I feel about you. You both do. We do have something to present to you, though. We may miss your laugh, but we can't miss your smiling face because this will be hanging in the hallway.
Thank you, Janet. And now the youth are represented by my son, Alec Gilmore.
Our family joined this church about 8 years ago. We spent a few years here, and then we left for a while. We moved out of state. At some point during that time, Pastor Judy joined the church. I remember the first Sunday service that we returned, had been in the hunt for a familiar face, a friend. It turned out the first friend that I would meet up with was someone I had never met previously, that being Pastor Judy. There's being a pastor, and then there's being as welcoming and as kind as she was, and how excited she was to meet me and our entire family. That was really great and really sweet to see. She's always been incredibly supportive in some way. She's really been effective in my life, in my church life, and just in my life in general. between being very active with the youth and being, again, supportive. That's one word I can describe Pastor Judy with, and that's supportive. And then there's, with me personally, I can remember Wednesday nights during midweek manna, I would just be off in thought, thinking about things, no one else around, just sitting back alone, and she'd be someone to talk to for who knows how much time. It's been so great for her to be so supportive, and I'm glad I've had these almost 2 years with her. It could have been a lot longer. I wish it could have been a lot longer, but I really cherished these past 2 years, and I was really appreciative of what else she did for me.
Rod, would you like to come up and say some kind words about Brother Jaimie?
So far, Judy's beat it.
Okay, never mind.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you for doing that.
Actually, I found out today she plays games before she does this. Aloha. This is a pretty good retirement party. Reminds me of when I had my retirement party. I didn't know whether they were happy I was leaving or whether they really wanted me to stay. We really want you to stay, okay? But obviously it's not going to happen. I happened to be on the SPR Committee 6 years ago or plus when the district superintendent, Mackie Oakham, sat down with us and said, "What do you need?" So we told him we need a young, dynamic individual. He came through for us. He gave us Jaimie. We were extremely happy. Only problem is he didn't explain to us the language problem. Now, this church is probably a melting pot of the world. We have had somebody from every single state sometime in our life. We've had foreign countries like Canada, Great Britain, Dominican Republic, New York, Iowa, Nebraska. So we had a lot of dialects in this church. And it took a while to get used to people. Jaimie comes along. Nobody would own up to being in Arkansas. So the first time he spoke, I heard two people say, "Do you have any idea what he said?" And the other one to her said, "Yes, he sounded so confident, and he seemed to know what he's talking about. I'm not going to ask him." But now let's go from his side of the point. Jaimie inherited all of us. So if you think we had a problem with learning one language, he had the problem of learning everybody's dialect here so we could understand it. So feel sorry for him, not us. We got by okay. Truthfully, my only recollection of Arkansas was when I was growing up in Oklahoma. My uncle was in the police department of Ponca City, Oklahoma. And the only reference I ever heard for my first 13 years of life to Arkansas was, don't forget Oklahoma was dry, was that the moonshiners from Arkansas were busy in Oklahoma. So I grew up with the fact that Arkansas was moonshine capital of the world. I probably was right. I'm not sure it's gone yet. When we first moved there 20-some years ago, they told us to certain roads up in Missouri not to go to. I won't mention, might be somebody from Missouri.
Mr. Wonderful will tell us.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful will tell us. He's awful quiet tonight, too. Okay, now, enough of the mushy stuff about how good they are and what they've done for our church and everything. That's the good part. I'm going to digress just a little bit, because there are some things that some of you may not know that have happened over the 6 years. And since I've been here forever, I was able to pick it up. I think if you can remember back, our last two pastors and Pastor Jaimie, when they were in the church, you knew it because of their laughter. So in one of my classes, when I was studying to be a certified speaker, I asked the instructor, I said, is there something in seminary to teach them how to laugh? And what he said is very profound. He said, no, but laughter is better than crying. And pastors deal with a lot of things that would make them cry. So now you just have to guess whether he was crying or laughing. And tonight, are we crying or are we laughing? So like Aloha, 2 meetings, laughter has 2 meetings. We all know about him being a chef because they've showed pictures of him all up here tonight of him with aprons and things on. I've never seen him cook a thing. I have been a recipient of some desserts that he has made, and extremely good. Plus the fact, this is the only Methodist church that I have ever belonged to in all my years, and I'm born into the Methodist church, where the staff meeting on Monday turns out to be a staff buffet. And once Jaimie's gone, they may lose some weight unless Pastor Gene takes up the slack there. Okay, now, some of you know that we used to play golf every year against the Highlands Church. And they'd win some, we'd win some, and we started winning some. Jaimie put a stop to that. When we had our golf matches the last couple of years or so, Jaimie imported 2 of his relatives, because he doesn't know anything about golf, but he knew enough to import 2 relatives. And these were 2 young ladies who happened to be very good golfers. After a couple of years, Highlands threw in the towel and said, we're not going to play with you anymore. So they permanently retired our trophy. Okay, now, this next thing just happened, I don't know, several weeks ago, maybe a month ago or something like this. And if you weren't in the first service or watching on the TV, you probably missed it. But Jaimie came into church late. And his explanation was he was chasing a squirrel out of the church. Now, to most of you, that is a, okay, squirrel. Me, anybody know what Ray Stevens is, singer, songwriter? Ray wrote all these crazy and wild songs. And one of the songs he had was the Mississippi Squirrel Revival. And immediately I thought of that when Jaimie said that. I didn't listen to what he was saying. I was saying, boy, how can I use that along the way? But in the song, and I'm not repeating everything, they're in deep revival at this church. They didn't know they had the squirrel. The squirrel was running up and down people's legs and things like this. And the people that were confessing their sins thought, hey, the Lord's telling me I'm not being truthful. So they started saying things that they didn't want anybody to know about. And the part was they started naming names. And so that's what the whole song was about, the Mississippi squirrel. So we had a potential Arkansas squirrel. But Jaimie stopped it. They didn't run up our legs or anything that day because he ran it out the door. And then I found out later by a reliable source that he directed it up to the Baptist church. Okay, now, Jamie's bought a house in Texarkana. We're all very happy for him and things that he has some place to live. And I understand actually he has a little more room in this house where his antiques don't take over everything in the house. As you know or may not know, he's Mr. Antique. His car hasn't seen a garage for years. Hopefully down there it will. Well, one thing I wanted to mention about that squirrel, if you get something in the church down there, it's probably an alligator or a water moccasin, so don't chase it. Our membership increased under Jaimie. When he first came, we just started having people from all over this area that would come to see Jaimie. He's very well known. He's the only one I know, only pastor I've ever known that's gone international to marry somebody. And then he goes to Uganda. So he's an internationally traveling preacher. And that's terrific. In his new house, he has 4 bedrooms upstairs that's turned in to be all antiques naturally, I imagine. So, let's see. In Texarkana. The one thing about the church in Texarkana, it's very close to Texas, which some of us call God's country. There'll be some of the people from Texas that will come over into Arkansas. They'll probably cover up their license plates or something, but they'll come into Arkansas. So you'll have to learn to say y'all. And a lot, y'all. And then when they come in their cowboy boots and their cowboy hats, don't expect them to remove their cowboy hats in church. So anyway, it's great. Texarkana, I don't know anything about Texarkana except that there's a theater there called Perot Theater that my former boss revitalized because he was from Texarkana. And we always kidded him about being from Texarkana. Now, Texarkana doesn't have any idea what they're getting. Not any idea. The thing is, I think the language problem's probably solved. Yes. Unless the Texans come across the line. So I think the language problem is solved. We will really miss y'all. Now, I'm not going to say much about Judy. And the reason I'm not going to say much about Pastor Judy is she's a lawyer. And I don't want to get sued or thrown in jail. You all have said very, very positive things about her, and I concur. There's a couple of things that I'd like to say. In Memphis, now, Memphis used to only have 2 things going for it, barbecue and blues. And that's the only 2 things the whole thing had. Now they'll have 3. They'll have Pastor Judy, barbecue and blues. So that's an improvement for Memphis. It's not us. We're not happy about her going. She was very, she formed this midweek manna that we had, put all this time and effort and everything, doing a terrific job for us, and we loved it. I sometimes slipped on the word manna and called it maniac, but that's all right. At my advanced age, you have to be careful that way. The only thing I can think about in the midweek manna is Pastor Judy always gave the blessing. But one time she didn't because she was late. And if you know anything about Methodists, when it's time to eat, you're going to eat, regardless of. And you saw that tonight. I mean, they run over. Anyway, they were in line, ready to eat, and somebody says, "Where's Judy? She hasn't given us a blessing." And somebody said, "Rod, do it." So I pulled out one old one that I've used several times on some of my things. And remember Ma and Paul Kettle? Much obliged, Lord. That was what I used. I got a standing ovation. Actually, the truth was known. They were already standing because they were in line. And the ovation was a couple of people clapped. But about that time, she comes running in to give the blessing, and she was too late. She said, I'm ready to give the blessing. He said, no, you aren't. Rod's already given it. So I think she was disappointed that night. Okay, all kidding aside, I personally will really miss the two of you. She gives the greatest hugs in the world. And Jaimie, you can't describe Jaimie. They've tried and everything, but he's been a blessing to us. They both brought a lot of eagerness, rejuvenated our congregation because we were a little bit stagnant. They've come in and stirred it up, stirred the pot up. So now we're going to have to train Pastor Gene when she comes. It's taken us 6 years to train him to get rid of him, and a couple of years for Judy to get rid of her. Now Pastor Gene's coming in, and we'll have to train her. So just keep that in mind. She's in training when she first comes. And don't be too hard on her. Thanks a lot. By the way, I have one presentation. As the official Candyman, I hereby make you member of the Candyman Kids Club and give you your peppermint so that when you come back, you can get another peppermint.
Thank you, Rod. I understand, Chet, you wanted to say something? Chet Campbell's going to come up, so I didn't instruct him on the kindness, so we'll see.
Well, you didn't instruct the ones that talked about me. Well, I don't have a lot to say, but in terms of Jaimie, what I remember about him is every time I saw him, he tried to keep me in line by saying, "Are you behaving yourself?" And I want to tell you about Pastor Judy. She probably has a skill you don't know about. She went bowling with Daryl and I a couple times, and I thought she was quite good. And she throws a rather fast ball. In terms of, I thought the pins were shaking before she let the ball go. And but she did very well, and we enjoyed bowling with her. And I want to say that I'll have to admit this: she beat me. Now, those of you that have bowled with me before, that's not a thing that you'll talk about, but no surprise. But anyway, I will miss you all very much. Thank you.
I know there's probably a lot of you that want to say something, but we would be here all night, and we do have tables to take down. So instead, Troy and Alan have been hard at work putting together some videos of people talking about the pastor, so we're going to watch that for a few minutes.
Pastor Judy, we met a couple of years ago when you first came to be the associate pastor at First United Methodist Church, Bella Vista. We welcome you with open arms, even though the fact that you were an attorney, a former attorney, coming in to spread the gospel, and that you have done very well. Your enthusiasm and dedication to the gospel is inspiring, and it's one thing that I'm going to miss significantly about your leaving. You are enthusiastic, awe-inspiring, and just a dedicated pastor, and I wish you well in your new assignment. Brother Jaimie, we first met in 2003 when you were part of the baptism of my oldest grandson. You've been the chaplain for Bella Vista Men's Chorus, of which I am a member, and a faithful attender of our concerts. Your prayers are inspiring. You are joyful. There's not a time that I've seen you that you didn't have a big smile on your face, and you laugh a lot, and that's a real testament to God's humor. We're going to miss you. I wish you well. Good luck. Happy trails, sayonara, and aloha. Thank you.
This is a goodbye message for our pastors. I hope your future is as bright as you've made our past.
And for both of you, thank you for the good times and the bad, but there hasn't really been any bad. So thank you for the good times and the great times. Thank you for the hugs, for the laughter, for the fun, for the tears even. Thank you for everything from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna miss both of you tremendously, and gonna miss the laughter. And thank you for everything. And we love you bunches. And they both said, thank you, thank you.
So Pastor Jaimie, Pastor Judy, you guys have done a lot for me, and you got me back into the church and my husband, and the church is awesome, and you guys leaving us is going to be sad, but we wish you all the well. And of course I will miss you terribly, and I guess, you know, I'm just going to have to make some road trips and come see each one of you at least on a weekend or something, so you're going to have to keep in touch with me to let me know what days I should be best to come down and listen to you preach. Again, we're going to miss you, and I hate to see you leave, but I wish you nothing but the best on your new venture. And God bless you.
I'm Sandy Fitch, and I'm the mission steward. Just in case Jaimie J would forget that. But I'm going to take this opportunity to say goodbye. And I hate to do that. But Brother Jaimie, the first day I heard your laugh, I knew we were going to get along. And you have challenged me to reach out and to do things that I hadn't thought about doing before, like knitting prayer squares that are now in Uganda with a whole bunch of people that have no idea who I am or why I knit those squares, but you challenged me to do that little chore and to help spread the love of Christ clear across the world, and I thank you for that opportunity. I know the folks in Texarkana are not prepared for your humor and your grace and your love. So if they get tired of you, I expect you to come back. Now, Pastor Judy, I don't know what we would have done without you. You challenged us, you pulled us, you pushed us, you dragged us out of our comfort zones to places that we had no idea we needed to carry the love of Christ. And thank God you did. You always, always had the patience of Job with us, and you always had a gentle hand in guiding us to where the Spirit told you we needed to be. Thank you so much for sharing your love of Christ, your joy in being a servant, and your friendship. The best of luck to you as you move on to becoming a full elder within the church, and know we always will be your first church and your first church family. God love you both, and thank you for all the memories.
Aloha, Brother Jaimie and Pastor Judy. Sorry we can't be there for your going away party. We wish to have told you all of this in person, but maybe we'll get an opportunity later. But I just wanted to thank you personally from the bottom of my heart for both of you being there through some trying situations in my life, for some hard times, for being there for me, being there for Linda, for pushing me forward in my life to take the steps that I needed to. Thank you so much, Brother Jaimie, for you being at First Church, because if you hadn't have been at First Church, I wouldn't be at church, because you're the reason I decided to join the First Church. And because of that, I met this wonderful woman next to me who is now my wife, and it's because of you. You helped bring us together. And Pastor Judy, thank you so much for what you did, getting me and pushing me and prodding me to getting involved with the youth, for stepping out of my comfort zone and being the person that I knew I could be. You guys are both huge examples of being Christ and walking like Christ, and you helped me to see that. And I thank you so much for everything you've done for me, and wish you guys the best of luck in the future in everything you do. And we're going to miss you.
Brother Jaimie, I remember the first time I saw you all slicked up in your white three-piece suit and white shoes, and I thought, oh my goodness, we have got ourselves a Southern brother. But over time, I came to know you as my pastor brother, and I appreciate you and everything you stand for and everything you are. And Judy, thank you so much for your words of encouragement And I'm sorry we couldn't be there with you all today. We are at a family wedding in Savannah, where I'm sure that the pastor conducting the ceremony will not refer to the bride's hair as goat hair. Aloha.
Thank you for teaching us how to be the church. You guys are a great example.
Yes. What did he say?
Pastor Jaimie and Pastor Judy, we want to thank you for all you've done and all you will do. We appreciate all you've done for the church and for us and for the community. We love you.
We love you and we're
we'll
going to
miss
miss
you.
you a lot.
We're Stan and Phyllis Robinson. Brother Jaimie, we have known since around 96, 97. He was in Fort Smith, the associate pastor there, and honestly probably the true leader of our church during that time. We had a tornado during that time, and he was very big part of that in leading. Pastor Judy, we have learned to love, and she had asked me first to be involved in a course for financial freedom. And when it first talked to me about it, I didn't really see something I might be interested in, but it turned out it was very, very beneficial to me. She probably didn't know at the time our income had dropped probably by a third, and since that time, through that course, we have learned our giving has increased. And sometimes I don't really understand how, but through that course, it was very, very, very good.
This is for Brother Jaimie. I have enjoyed immensely being around the fun times, which you remember some of those from St. Paul United Methodist, Fort Smith, Arkansas. I have also watched you grow as a pastor, and you're going to be severely missed by all of us. And I've always enjoyed all the cooking times and the special stories from all of that. And I thank God above for the fact that you've been such a true Christian over all the years. Pastor Judy, I'll try to say some more without crying. You're the inspiration. You're the rock. It's been our privilege to be involved with you. And God will use you wherever you are and wherever you may go in life. We'll severely miss both of you, but we know you're doing God's work.
Brother Jaimie, Pastor Judy, you know that we have to read this or we will wander off track, forget something, or start crying. This is a very sad day when we have to say goodbye to both of you at the same time. It breaks our hearts, but we know that God has a plan for both of you. Having you both in our lives has had a great impact on our growing faith. Your welcoming arms into the church will never be forgotten. We have had to hide our true selves from everybody for so long. It's precious to be accepted into a church family where it is stressed that God loves everyone. Yes, Pastor Judy, we are the beloved. Because of you both, we feel we belong here and will continue to thrive in our faith. Brother Jaimie, thank you for your dedicated sermons, devotional class, many, many, many talks, and especially your laughter. Pastor Judy, thank you for your meaningful sermons, Wednesday Manny Fellowship of coloring in classes, numerous talks on life issues, and the Women's Retreat. You both had the innate ability to impact our lives greatly and will be missed. We know in our minds and hearts that with God's guidance, you will do wonders in your new churches.
Remember this saying, if you want to see God laugh, show him your plan. So long till next time. Don't forget your yard slave MJ and your dessert diva Donna. Fair winds and following seas.
Is this thing on? Hello? Hello? Bobby? Bobby! Oh, boy. Hello, Bobby. Now, some of you guys, I can tell, remember me, and I can see from the utter look of horror on others that you don't know who I am. But my name is Maud Culpepper, and I'm from Minnesota. And this is my son, Bobby Wave. And we performed last October in the 40th anniversary church party. And it was, oh, Bobby has the voice of an angel, I can tell you what. And the moves of, I don't know, Elvis. Okay, that works. Anyway, so I just wanted to say, as your mother, Bobby, nobody is more excited that you're moving out of my basement. Oh, boy. It's been a long wait. You know, my bridge friends, we get together at my house sometimes, and every time Bobby comes up there, he eats all the snacks and just makes us so upset, you know, so it's a good thing. And we are so just ready for some change, and I know you're going to do really great wherever you go, and just bloom where you're planted. But anywho, so Texarkana, that's where you're going. And, you know, it's a little confusing, so maybe you can help me. Is it Texas or is it Arkansas?
I'm on Arkansas, but it's in both.
So maybe you can just help clear it out, you know, figure it out. But Bobby, really, for real, I'm very happy for you, and I'm very sad, too. And, you know, Judy, you're going to get to go to Memphis, West Memphis, and there's a whole lot to do in West Memphis. You can go to Memphis. So there's that. And that's about it. So, but I'm going to hit you up because every year my girlfriends and I, we take a road trip up to Memphis on our way to Tunica, where the slots are hot and the men are hotter. Woo! You're not around anymore, Bobby. But on a serious note, aloha, hello, and goodbye. And I will sing this little song. Aloha voi, aloha voi, lituki uki muki mak. I'm making up the words. Woo!
Thank you, Maud. It wouldn't be a dinner complete without Maud. Well, this concludes our program. We're so happy and so grateful that you all came out tonight so we could give them a send-off so they'll never forget us in Bella Vista. Would you like to say something? Oh, they're going to speak.
They said the nicest things about you. You can talk first.
Okay, you said that you weren't going to cry and that you were going to save all that for me. So I really can't say very much without crying. I'm trying, but I'm not good at that, Rod. Not like you are. What I do want to say is that the love that you have showered on us tonight, I plan to take with me not only to West Memphis, to the new congregation that I will serve, but I plan to take it with me the rest of my life. Because as you all as you know, and I think as somebody said, Candy said, ministry can be hard, but it's moments like these when there is absolutely no doubt what's a reasonable doubt. Okay, I'm a lawyer, right? There's no reasonable doubt. There's no shadow of a doubt that you are loved and beloved. And so I will take each and every one of you with me and the love that you have showered. And I pray that God will magnify it
and it will pour out to everyone that I am in service and ministry with in the future. So God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for an incredible evening of love and laughter.
Well, I can't remember who it was when, it was Jennifer who said, "Didn't you come 6 years ago around this time?" And I said, I don't remember what day I arrived. What I do remember is I wasn't supposed to show up till Wednesday, but on Tuesday, your pastor then, Sarah, called, and she said, "You have a funeral to do on Friday." And I wanted to say, "Well, I'm not even at the church." "Well, they're expecting you at their home." And it was Stan Carlson that passed away. And I didn't know Marie or her 6 children at that point in time. So I went kind of nervous, confident I could handle a funeral, but what are they expecting? Is it fair to Stan that a man he never met would, he'd have to put up with me celebrating his life, and Marie would have to put up with that and her children? But I knocked on the door, and they took me in, and we sat around the table, and they made me feel very comfortable and at one, and I'm grateful to Marie and her children for that. And we had the funeral on Friday, and that's where I met so many of you. And so by the first time on Sunday, that was a breeze. The funeral was the debut. And since then, we've done a lot of funerals together, haven't we? And we celebrate a lot of lives, and we've experienced a lot of situations. And we've laughed a lot, and we've cried a lot, and we've gone through hard times, and we've gone through good times based on people's lives. And you've invited us into places that are tender in your life. You've shared your hearts with us. Rod said, "Y'all didn't understand me when I got here, and don't worry, some of you made me feel that too." Thank you. You understood me. The rest of them thought I was Gomer Pyle. And I had a few of them that were not real nice to me, if you want the truth, when I got here. And I thought, well, will this work out? Who's going to win, me or them? I won. If you want to know names, it's $10 a name, I'll tell you. But we've worked together as a family. And along the way, Pastor Brenda came. We've talked a lot about us, but we're leaving Pastor Brenda. And she feels it too, because for the Brenda came as a seminary student, and so she was an intern, and then for the last 2 years, we've 3 worked together in ministry, each having our goals and our roles and our responsibilities, trying to stay out of each other's way, and ministering with each other and for each other. And so, Brenda, thank you for all you've done to support us in that, and for what you will have to do in the future. I don't know if you know this, but they like you a lot. So apparently they voted us off the island and decided to keep you. That's why this is a island theme. You get to stay. We're leaving. And but thank you. And I am excited for what's going to take place in the future for this congregation. God is doing something fresh and new, and continually we are invited to be a part of what God is doing. Do we fully understand or know what it is? No, but God does, doesn't he? As I have closed all these services, all these years together, when we've been in worship, I've always said God is faithful in what? So if he's faithful in the past, and if he's faithful in the present, what does that mean? He's faithful in the future. And God has got an incredible future for you. He's got a credible future for Judy and her ministry, Brenda and her ministry, and for me. And now, what I don't like about it is I've got to go back down there again and be nice and not let them know I can laugh for a little while and try to toe the line and not get in trouble, because I laughed a little too quick here one day about Jan Lowe, and I suffered the wrath of Lucille Roberts until she was passed away. And so I've learned, okay, don't try to be funny too soon until they actually know you care about them. Because what you've helped me understand fully is they really don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And so thank you for caring and for loving and supporting and for helping, and for all of you that have stood in the back and
you've been there to encourage and to help. You know, we couldn't do this together. It's not Brenda or Judy or myself. It's us. And that's why when we say we don't simply come to church, who are we called to be? We've been the church. And you will continue to be the church. So I thank you so much for the privilege and for the honor of being your pastor. You know, God even had a plan in this whole house thing, and I don't know, one of these days I'll write my book and I'll just say, I sure don't understand how God couldn't sell a house for 2 years and allowed me to move back in it and be your pastor, and he could sell a house overnight with me not even ready to move out yet. He is amazing. And so remember that. Our God is a God of total amazement for us in our life, and that he has given us the gift of all being in a relationship with each other, whether we're present or whether we're a little bit distant. You know, I'm just moving to another neighborhood. It happens to be 5 hours away. Judy's moving to another neighborhood. Hers is about 5 hours away. We're about 5 hours away from you. So see, we're all 5 hours apart in separation. So we thank you so much I thank you so much for the role and responsibility of being your senior pastor over the last 6 years.
It's a striptease now.
So now the party begins. Thank you all for this wonderful evening. And if you stay longer, you can watch the hula or help take down tables, whichever works. God bless you all. There you go. That works too. God bless you all, and good night.